Mickey Mouse March is a time where I think it's something that I feel like it might have started a little bit early this year.
I was going to say, I think we've got some early performances that are pretty special.
Yeah, I was going to say, we started to get, I feel like it starts a little bit earlier on average now, just because the fact that the schedule is as brutal as it is, and the fact that teams are always missing players in a way that in the past they might not have. Obviously that we've talked about the hospital teams every single year. We have a different team that is just completely destroyed by the pace and the schedule, the amount of games and minutes played and all of that shit. I look at this year and I think there are a few choice names on this list that we have here that these players are a little bit ahead of the curve. As I said before, Josh Giddey might have seen his shadow a little bit early, just as he did last year, which means that Mickey Mouse March actually started in February this year. So do you want to lead off top here and just let us know who you'll be taking with the first pick in the Mickey Mouse March draft?
I think there's a tier 1 guy and then there's everybody else. So if you're okay with giving me the first round pick, I think there's a clear number 1 that I'm going to, I will. Are you all right with me taking this player?
Yeah, I guess before you do say anything, we probably should explain what the concept is to anyone who's new here. If you're not familiar, obviously you listen to the podcast, you already know what it is, but Mickey Mouse March is basically the time of the year where guys really stop trying around the NBA, specifically veteran players, guys on playoff teams. There are tanking teams down the stretch that are playing fringe NBA players. And the competition level across the league is general. I mean, Adam Silver's very obviously trying to curb this right now by potentially changing the rules for the lottery so that your lottery odds are locked in earlier so that we get more competitive basketball down the stretch. But March, generally speaking, is usually reserved for the guys that kind of try harder than everyone else down the stretch. And Mickey Mouse March is something that we coined a few years ago, which basically is, the players who fool everyone every single year, some kind of OGs of Mickey Mouse March, some historical Mickey Mouse Marches in the past. Guys like Jalen Green was a huge Mickey Mouse March guy in the past. Obi Toppin, I remember one year with the Knicks, was a huge Mickey Mouse March guy. RJ Barrett. There have been.
Giddey is kind of the patron saint of Mickey Mouse March.
He is the Larry Bird of Mickey. If you, I know that at some point Trey Kirby showed his actual month by month stats, and it is literally like a completely different player in the month of March every single year, to the point where it got him like his current contract after doing it with the Bulls last year. And what's that?
Do we have like a realistic, because something else I thought of recently, we witnessed one Mr. Sadiq Bey down in New Orleans, who is having sort of a breakout year for the Pelicans and their win streak that they're putting together. Do you know when his 50-point game was?
Was it in March?
It was March 17th, 2022. So
wow, so he might be an original. I kind of skipped over him.
Yeah, he might be is he the only Mickey Mouse March guy to ever like because he's starting to become like a real player. Should we have like a Sadiq Bey division?
No, I think that first off, I want to be clear. There are plenty of Mickey Mouse March players that have become decent players. It's just that they're generally not as good as they play in March. Like there are plenty of players that we'll talk about today that still have potential in the league, but will have stats that are truly eye-popping during the month of March. I mean, like, the guys we just mentioned are probably the kind of peak of that, but like, I mean, like, as much as we've made fun of Giddey in the past, like, he's very clearly like a decent NBA player, if not a flawed one. So like, it's not to say that like you can't become a decent player because you were good at March. It's just that you're generally playing above your head every single March.
I also, just for out of curiosity, I looked up what Malachi Flynn's 50-point game was. Not March.
April
3rd.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew that was very late in the season. Yeah. You know what I mean? I knew that was like
spiritual Mickey Mouse March.
Just before the. Well, also I do just want to clarify that like April can count as long as it's not like determining seeds, I feel like, in those games. And you really don't get those until like the last few games, like maybe like the last few days of the season. So the first week of April, I would say, is like a spiritually Mickey Mouse March time of the year. Like it still can carry over because most teams either don't have a lot to play for or teams are tanking still. And Malachi Flynn is a perfect example of a Mickey Mouse March. He was not a consistent Mickey Mouse March performer, but he did have a Hall of Fame Mickey Mouse March game in April.
For sure.
So is there someone you want to take?
There is. I'm going to take a person I think has a long and illustrious Mickey Mouse March career ahead of them. And I'm really primed to see what he's going to do for them. I think he's up against my team tonight, and I will be taking Cam Thomas, who I think is I
didn't see this coming.
You didn't see this coming?
When you said you had a person, I thought I could have sworn I knew who it was. But anyway, continue.
I think Cam Thomas, I think this is the start of a really special Mickey Mouse March run for him. I think we've got a clear future of him getting fooled, having big March things, getting signed by teams, getting waived down the stretch of the season, and then joining another team after the trade deadline, February, March, and going on another Mickey Mouse run. I think he's going to play for 9 NBA teams in his career and have generational Mickey Mouse March studies. And this is the start of a truly transcendent Mickey Mouse March career. I'm going to guess he probably puts up 30 points 7 times this month. So just watch out for Cam Thomas. I think he's number 1 with a bullet, and I can't wait to see what he does down the stretch here.
So we are 1 day into March, so not a great start for Cam Thomas. He went 3 of 11 last night. He did have 8. He went 8 for 10 from the line. Will pointed out that he has not had a steal since November. He had his first block in, I want to say, 3 months last night. Once again, those are not the reasons why you sign Cam Thomas, but it is kind of shocking when you see how long he can go without a steal or a block. Which part of that is he's generally not trying on defense. Another part of that is that his athletic limitations are very clear, and he kind of basically puts all of his skill points into making tough buckets and scoring. I don't know. You haven't really been paying attention recently because he's kind of fell off the last 4 games. He started really hot with the Bucks.
He'll be back.
So his second game with the Bucks, he had 34 points on 12 of 20 from the field. He had then he had 12 points on 5 of 13 the next game. Following game, 27 points on 11 of 17. Then he had 15 on 5 of 9. Since then, 2 of 10, 3 of 6, 2 of 9, 3 of 11. So he's only been my concern with this. He's only been playing about 16 to 18 minutes the last few games. Doc, when they first signed him, it seemed like a marriage made in heaven with Doc and Cam Thomas, because Doc came out, of course. I literally predicted it when I was coming from Ball Don't Stop's perspective. Someone asked me what Ball Don't Stop would say about Cam Thomas signing with the Bucks. And my perspective was, this is a guy that, Doc Rivers is a guy who's coached. I don't know why Ball Don't Stop is Italian in this clip, but he's from New York and Italian, but this is a guy that's coached some of the greatest buckets we've ever seen. Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, and literally Doc at his press conference came out and said basically word for word what I said, was that he knows how to coach these 6-man microwave scorer type guys off of the bench. And at first it looked like I said, a match made in heaven. He was averaging 21 to 25 minutes a game, but he hasn't cracked over 20 minutes in the last 3 games. So it will be an uphill battle for him now that I do wonder how he looks now that Giannis is back, because I don't know if that means that they're going to play him more or less, because there are very clearly other players in this team that are just much better than Cam Thomas. But the idea behind signing him for this Bucks team was basically to give some offensive pop when Giannis was on the bench. And now that Giannis is coming back tonight against the Celtics and assuming that he stays healthy down the stretch, and they're trying to make a play and push, because I don't know if you've been following that either, but they're kind of like in danger of missing the play-in. Like
I think they're gonna miss the playoff. I don't know. Like, I get that Giannis is back and everything. Like, what's the fucking point? I think they're gonna let go of the rope and let Cam Thomas cook. Like, honestly, I don't think maybe they play Giannis tonight and that lock it in. They will beat the Celtics tonight because of how much I'm talking shit on them right now. But like, I don't see them like pulling things together. Like, I think they have a clear plan. They have a real shot to, like, in a draft this good with the lottery odds flat, like, and you're in danger of losing Giannis, this could kind of be like a little bit of a gift, to be totally honest. Like, sure, get in there, try to be the Dallas Mavericks of last year, man. Like, that would be literally franchise changing if they could jump up this draft. Like, they
can't get up to 1, but they could get up to 2.
Still, 2 or 3 are both good. DeBanston would be awesome for this team. Darren Peterson would be awesome for this team. Like, you don't need Cam Boozer necessarily to save your season. So I don't know. Something I would. I think that I think cooler heads will prevail here. I don't think if you told Doc stop working so hard, he would.
The only thing I think is that it's possible that if they do miss the play-in entirely, that Giannis will leave, and it seems like the organizational goal has been to keep Giannis. Whether you agree with that being the right move or not, that's kind of what they've laid out there. And I agree with you.
I think a better shot if they miss the playoffs.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Do you think they agree though? Because I don't see it that way. I everything that they've pointed to is that they've made moves that they will try to make the play-in at any cost because they're afraid of losing Giannis. And I think in a vacuum, I agree with you. Like, if I were Giannis and I think, shit, if I assign another extension here, don't I want to have a running mate that is worthy of that? Like, Ryan Rollins is really good, but like, then Ryan Rollins becomes your 3rd best player and Miles Turner becomes your 4th best player. And it's like, all right, now this team starts to make a lot more sense for me. I mean, you said, honestly, the comp for me is the Sixers with the VJ thing, where it's like, yeah, like sure, we didn't jump up to 1, we jumped up to 3, but we got VJ, and like, our outlook, even if it's driving fans insane right now, certainly looks a lot better now that they acquired VJ in this draft, and these top 3 are supposed to be even stronger than last year's.
Everyone was talking about you guys last offseason like you were the worst situation in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was crazy, to be totally honest, but like, but that was discussions that were going on, and the Bucks are staring down the barrel of something like that again. Like, the Clippers have kind of soft pivoted out of a lot of their worst outlooks, and I do think the Bucks are in danger of being the bleakest situation in the NBA. Well, hence the Kings, but like,
they're in their own category.
But like, that, if that would be like massive, like they could go back. You could go back to contending like in one shot, and if you don't jump up, great. Who cares? You've got a better draft pick. You can trade Giannis. Now you have the 12th pick and whatever other picks you get coming back. You know where the picks are that are coming back. Be bad. This season is over. You're not. Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing Giannis's mind outside of suddenly being able to say, "Hey, this is Darren Peterson. He's really fucking good," or "This is AJ DeBanston. He's really fucking good. Do you want to hang around for another season and just see how this thing goes?" That's the pathway to keeping Giannis.
Yeah. So, I do also just want to point out that you said after talking shit, now the Bucks are going to beat the Celtics tonight, but you guys are resting your best player. I saw that Kata's out tonight.
Yeah, it is. He was a demon last night. What do you think of Kata, man? What did you think of that up close in person? I can't believe he dominated Andre Drummond like that.
I mean, I was watching and just getting honest. Once again, I'm trying to have more perspective on obviously the horrendous shit that's happening in the world right now. It's been kind of hard for me to really get quite as invested and as mad at the Sixers over this shit when you look at what's happening in the world in general. But during that game, the thing that is just the most frustrating to me is like the Sixers' most important thing since they hired Daryl Morey is basically making it so that they can have a player that when Joel Embiid isn't on the court, that they can survive those minutes. And the Celtics have now acquired on the margins at least 2 of those guys in Luke Kornet and Neemias Queta, who are just insanely more playable than any backup center we've had other than maybe Paul Reed. And Paul Reed is someone who, look, at the time, I kind of understood why they waived him. I don't know if I thought that he was worth the contract that he was on at the time, but he ends up getting picked up by another team. And even now, like, he's ideally a fringe backup. He's probably one of the, like I said, the more playable backups we've had during this time period. But the thing that's so frustrating to me is, like, why are the Sixers not using every resource in their power like the Celtics have in order just to acquire playable backup centers? And now Keita's like looking like an actual starter with this team, and it's changed kind of the ceiling and the floor of the team, it feels like.
I owe an apology to Noah Delself because I was being quite mean to her last season when she was like, Keita's got some really good minutes. Like last season, I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes about Keita. Keita's like a friend. Like what you just said about Paul Reed. He's like a very good, and I don't know, Joe Mazzulla, man, he's quickly becoming Spo to me because I'm sorry, these Celtics guys are, there's no way all these Celtics guys are good, man. Joe Mazzulla is doing something fucked up. I would not, every team, do not trade with us. There's no way these guys are actually good. Joe Mazzulla is
I'm sure everyone's going to listen to you. I don't know why the rest of the league hasn't stopped trading with the Celtics and the Thunder. Like, I would just, I really do think, because you just said he's like the new Spo.
Yeah.
I really do think that the Celtics have, in a way, the Thunder maybe a little bit less, because the Thunder kind of spawned these guys, but we already know who they are. Like, we knew who Cason Wallace was. We knew Isaiah Joe. We knew Jared McCain. We knew these guys. They just take advantage of people being stupid.
Exactly.
They Caruso was good when they got him. Like, we knew that was a good move. The Celtics are becoming like the Heat in that, like, it's like guys that are like two-way guys and second or late first. And
why is Ron Harper Jr. good? Like, I
don't know. I really don't know.
Kind of good. Like, he's not like great, but I'm just saying, like, but he's like, I watch him and I'm like, you're an NBA player. What the fuck is going on? Why is like a weird two-way guy an NBA player? And I long story short, I don't think that's real. I think Joe Mazzulla is a demon. I apologize for ever saying we should cut ties with him and fire him. I was completely wrong about that. I'm owned. He's really good, unfortunately. So anyway,
must be nice.
Your pick number 2.
Also, I do just want to say that also is partially on Nick Nurse for getting impatient and just loving shitty, terrible players and closing with Andre Drummond last night. Like they honestly, it was really funny because after the game, he was like, I thought that we actually played pretty well. And I was like, we played like total Maxey was, it was one of the worst Maxey first halves in forever. Like we played like total shit. It's just that we were able to, I do think that obviously the Tatum factor is a huge part, and the Sixers' health is just always a factor in that matchup. But I do think that this year, those matchups, those games that they've played, they have gone toe-to-toe with the Celtics in a way, even when they're undermanned, in a way that I did not anticipate. But you could just see the massive difference in coaching, the massive difference in depth, and the massive difference in... It's just math. It is math. If you lose the possession battle and the other team shoots a ton of threes, you're never going to win that game. And the Sixers don't shoot enough threes. When Embiid and Paul George are out and we're playing in a game like that, Tyrese Maxey should shoot 20 threes. Like, there's no reason why he should shoot 11 threes, especially when he can't score inside. Like, there's just a volume of 3 points that are off here relative to teams that have actually figured out a way to space the court and put a ton of shooting around their guys and, eventually just math ball their way to victory. I think you guys won that game by 15. That was a much closer game. It's just that at the end of games, you guys get hot from 3 and that kind of ends up being the difference. So, all right. I'm not even coping at all. I actually was not really all that concerned about last night. I'm just like, the Sixers kind of are who they are, and I'm glad that they put up a fight. VJ played great, and Maxey turned it around in the second half. So, what are you laughing at?
Adam Friedland got Gavin Newsom to go on the show.
I feel like, hasn't that happened before? Is that not a second time he's had him?
He had good Chris Cuomo. I don't know.
Maybe that they have similar energy.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? What has happened? Anyway, sorry. Go on. I didn't mean to. Very, very silly.
I feel like that adds up for the people that he's had on the show. But
sure.
All right. So mine, I'm going to take the guy that I'm shocked you didn't take with the first pick. I'm floored when you said, "Oh, there's a guy that Jonathan Kuminga is." We might as well change the fucking MVP of Mickey Mouse March to Jonathan Kuminga's award, because he, in his first 3 games, including one that was played during March with the Hawks, he has been on fire to start. Like, he's in his minutes so far. Do you want to know what this is incredible. His net rating is with the Hawks so far. He's a plus 19.7 in his first 3 games. Now, 2 of them were against the Wizards. One was against Portland without the evil man. And that team stinks whenever he doesn't play. But he has dropped 27 points on 9 of 12 from the field, 17 points on 5 of 9 from the field, 20 points on 7 of 10 from the field. He's averaging 3.5 assists a game, and he looks almost his per 36s are also out of control so far with the Hawks. He's averaging like 11 rebounds. Like, he's trying harder than I've ever seen him try. And look, Kuminga always has these. I think that he's been in that category of what the haters would call last 5 games man, where it's Jalen Green, Paolo Banchero. Yeah. He's kind of been in that territory of a player who very clearly has talent, athleticism, and all of that, but never can really put it together. And I would imagine, when you consider his contract status, he has a team option on his contract next year. He is playing for a team that is in the play-in right now. They're the 9 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 500 exactly again. Somehow they're 31-31. Just forever mid.
God, the Hawks are awesome, dude.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And it's funny because I remember before the season saying, are the Atlanta Hawks the ultimate like entertainment product in the NBA? And I know that sounds weird because it's like, why would the Hawks be that? Because you literally never know if they're going to win or they're going to lose, because they're 500 and
wait, hold on. Do you know what their point differential is right now?
Is it exactly neutral?
It is 0. It is exactly 0. That's
dude. I looked this up earlier. Their all-time winning percentage for their franchise history is 49.3. So,
oh my God,
they're about 80 games below 500 over the sample of thousands of games that they've played as a franchise. Someone did like the random. It's like the last 150 games they're 500. The last 200 games. Like, it is insane how long they've been going for being this mid, this whatever. And once again, contract status, motivation to get that contract picked up or possibly an extension, combined with this team's going to probably try down the stretch to make the play-in because they don't have their own pick. They have the Pelicans pick, so there's no use in them pulling the cord and tanking. And Kuminga has a fuck you in mind for the Warriors. Like, he wants to prove that they made a mistake trading him for a player that will likely never really play real minutes for the Warriors.
Did you see the thing about Steve What's going on there? Why would Steve Kerr say that and then walk it back? Like,
what's going on here? It is
I'm sorry, that's weird. That's really
it is
weird and bizarre that Steve Kerr, like, look, I don't want to be one to like, it's generally bad hat to like kind of project a guy's health stat and question a guy's health status. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't like if this
yes, you do. Let's be honest. It's Porzingis.
If it were any other player in the league, I would be like, that's a little fucked up to kind of like put that out there in the open. But because it's Kristaps Porzingis, and I know it's not fucking true, I'm saying that like this is the one case where it's like, so why did he say that? Because like he walked it back and said, I shouldn't have said that. But it's like, why? That's not something you say if there's not something else like weird going on. Well, I don't know.
We do know about Steve Kerr's political connections. Lincoln Project. Is it possible that this is Havana syndrome?
It would be so funny if it was Havana syndrome. God, He has Havana syndrome in a crazy way.
Wait, did they literally make that joke on the podcast when you went on Nothing But Respect?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
I'm subconsciously stealing. I was like, I probably heard that somewhere, didn't I?
I think it was either somebody said it or by the way, check that out.
It was
they're so funny, dude.
Yeah, it was a great
I didn't
episode.
even hold my own. That was like basically me just being an audience member and clapping because the boys were so funny.
I was gonna say they held you hostage in that episode. So
yeah, go check it out. As always, the Nothing But Respect boys killed it. Shout out to Auk, by the way, for showing me a lovely time on the town while I was stranded.
While you were a prisoner of war.
Well, I was a prisoner of war.
Great guy. Yeah. But yeah, so Jonathan Kuminga is the obvious choice here for Mickey Mouse March. Like, I think that when we look back in 3 weeks and we're talking about this March, 4 weeks, whenever that is, and we're making our all Mickey Mouse March teams, like, I think he's going to be a first ballot guy. I think he's first team all Mickey Mouse March.
You're probably right. I'm just so anti Kuminga. Like, I'm just going to put this way. He literally you sent me a list of like guys for suggestions. He just rolled off my brain because I'm so, that's how out I am on Jonathan Kuminga. I didn't even consider him putting up empty stats in a Mickey Mouse March because
but he's the perfect guy. He is.
No, you're right. You're 100% correct. Yeah.
He's 23. It's usually guys in like their 4th or 5th season. Sometimes it can be guys on like their rookie contracts, like first, second year, but it's usually guys that are like a little bit further into their careers. Now, generally speaking, it's not second contract players, but the way that his contract played out, it's so unique because he didn't really play all that much when he was younger, and he kind of didn't even play on his second contract for the Warriors. And as I said before, there's motivation on multiple levels for Jonathan Kuminga to really have a fuck you March here that could potentially, now for Atlanta's perspective, it is that they're lucky that they have this team option on him next year because they can they don't have to fall for, if he averages 20 points a game in March and it's on crazy efficiency and he's rebounding and playmaking and trying on defense.
Honestly, his agent would probably see it as a favor if they declined his option, to be totally honest, if he has a good March.
Okay, maybe, but what I'm trying to say from their perspective, it's good. Because you're not overpaying basically for a month's worth of production when there are multiple reasons for him to really try down the stretch of this season. And I've wondered how it was really going to work with this team, specifically a team that's built around Jalen Johnson. And so far, the returns are really good. We obviously need to see a much larger sample before I fall for it. I mean, a player that we talked about who had a similar kind of start to this season that we were like, we're not really sure if this is real or not, that might come up at some point during this episode, is Scoot Henderson. And he's just come crashing back down to earth the last few games. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to overreact to 3 games here, but good start. And he can prove that he is a Mickey Mouse March legend by continuing to play. I'm sure in the past he's had a stretch in Mickey Mouse March with the Warriors where he had a 2-week stretch where it was like Jonathan Kuminga looks like a future star, and he definitely has some size and athleticism, but he's never really proven to be able to put it all together. And now he has his opportunity to do that here with the Hawks. So,
I everything you just said, I agree with. I think that's correct, but again, Jonathan Kuminga, I think what's happened is I'm too discoursed out on Jonathan Kuminga, and I literally cannot I'm just done. I don't want Jonathan Kuminga in my eye line. I don't want to hear about Jonathan Kuminga. I don't want to I'm sick of it. We
thought he was going to go away forever, but little did you know the prestige zone only gets hotter when you go to a new team and you make the old team look stupid, at least temporarily.
Yeah. I'm going to go out there. I still think Jonathan Kuminga is bad. I don't think the Warriors in the long run are going to regret this, but we will, we'll see. We will see. Yeah.
But that's not what Mickey Mouse March is about.
Anyway. That is not what Mickey Mouse March is about. And you're 100% correct for that one.
All right. So you're up next. By the way, I did in passing mention while we're on Atlanta, I did in passing mention Luke Kornet earlier. Any thoughts on his statement that he released?
I'm kind of surprised at how much I'm a creature of discourse, right? I've grown up on Twitter, so like maybe it's just I'm kind of surprised at how much positive attention it's getting.
And I did not see that at all. I have a very different timeline.
Okay.
Everything I saw was like, you're a fucking idiot. Well, you didn't say shit about any domestic violence stuff, which I totally agree with. Like, if you really care about the protection and safety of women, then you should probably come out anytime that there's an NBA player that's currently playing, whether it's Miles Bridges, Kevin Porter Jr., any of those players, and speak out against that, as opposed to the Atlanta Hawks doing a cheeky thing with a strip club, which, once again, I didn't know anything about Luke Kornet or his background, and then I Googled it and saw he went to a Christian university.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, now I think that this is completely disingenuous. Like,
well, this is what I'm saying. I don't.
Your perspective is just whack to me. So,
yeah, I don't think now of all times to be the one to speak up. Like, look, do I think strip clubs are good for women? I don't know. Like,
they can be extremely exploitative.
Yeah,
of course. Like, we know all that. We
know all bad things. Like it's call out one of your contemporaries in the league for still being in the league if you want to be a real guy about this. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. That's
kind of how I thought about it too.
Yeah, this is not like I don't know. It's not great, but it does kind of seem a little grandstandy to me.
It was the like woke Schrodinger's cat thing. Like,
yes.
Which way? Like, is he being woke or is he being? And I mean, if you stare at it for a little bit, to me, it's just very clearly some weirdo.
Yeah, is the cat? Well, this is what I'm saying. It's honestly perfect Twitter discourse because you can kind of argue either side. And not be wrong necessarily, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's great. I'll just say that. So
if you were still on the Celtics, you would defend it anyway.
Oh, 100%. I would be in there just coming up with every excuse for it.
You'd be going Verno mode.
Oh,
this freaking guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we thought strip clubs were these beacons of this institution that needs to be protected, Kevin O'Connor. What are you in Magic City? Are you taking money from Magic City? Kevin, I see those singles in your wallet.
I'll say.
I miss the
speaking of the discourse.
I mean, I miss the real mismatch every day, dude. Like, God, it fucking sucks. That's what happened. Anyway, so it's back to me. We're moving along at a good pace, right? So I'm going with
two picks
here.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 picks in. We're 40 minutes in as usual.
So I'm gonna go with a guy on the Pelicans, but it's probably not the guy you think. Far be it from me to give this guy credit because he literally ruined my life and destroyed my enjoyment of the game of basketball forever. But I do have to say that it is shaping up to be a Mickey Mouse March for Jordan Poole in a big way.
By the way, I don't know if anyone has been tuned into this. The Pelicans are 4-1 since the ball trip to New Orleans, and I think their only loss is on the second half of a back-to-back to the Clippers. But as I said in the last episode, being on the second half of a back-to-back is actually good now. It's actually it became so bad that it actually became good.
That's why the Celtics are winning tonight. Yeah.
You have an advantage whenever you're on the second half of a back-to-back now, so I can't use that excuse anymore. But yeah, they beat the Jazz 2 nights ago. They lost to the Clippers last night, but they were going into that game, if I remember correctly, I think they were 14-41, and they're 4-1 since we went to that game. And Jordan Poole, that was kind of his, or not coming out party. He's been in the NBA for quite some time.
He had a massive finals game at one point for a winning team.
He hit a half-court shot in the finals. But at this stage of his career, you got to take the W's where you can with Jordan Poole. Because Jordan Poole, very funny going into that game that we had Antoine, who is a Warriors fan that was with us, that has been a Jordan Poole stan for years, wore his Jordan Poole Pelicans jersey to the game, and then I was having to explain this to Lauren. Lauren was like, why was everyone going so insane for that guy? And I was like, because he sucks. and he was destroying us in that game. He went 8 for 15 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3, had 23 points, 5 assists, and was a plus 21. That's got to be the highest for him on the season by a mile.
For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, last few games definitely cooled off. Didn't play in the Clippers game last night. I think he might have been injured. But certainly is someone in the past that has been a candidate for the Mickey Mouse March, I would imagine.
I saw it. He looked hungry. He looked ready, man. Like, I thought DeJounte Murray kind of coming back, he would be kind of the one that would be the obvious. We talked about this in New Orleans, how he was kind of an obvious Mickey Mouse March candidate. He's been like a little underwhelming since he came back. I'm sticking with Jordan. I'm sticking with the hot hand, even though he's not hot right now, as you've evidenced. I saw him. I body language doctor. We went in person. He really gives a shit.
This guy gives a shit.
He really gives a shit. Does he actually give a shit? No. He's just throwing up threes. But that's what I'm looking for, Mickey Mouse March, dude.
Yeah, you need volume. You absolutely need volume in order to. Huge potential for a Jordan Poole game tomorrow night. They're playing at the Lakers. Courtside baddies.
Courtside baddies. He's gonna be locked the fuck in, dude. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
He's gonna see Halsey.
gonna go crazy. God, the Jordan Poole courtside baddies. I'm gonna see that when I'm dying. I'm gonna tell my grandkids, like, when my brain is circulating, Jordan Poole shot for courtside baddies. Because I have to ironically make fun of that because it was such a painful memory to me. It's so annoying that something that stupid ruined my favorite team of all time. One
of my favorite YKB bits ever was the Elizabeth Holmes being his courtside baddie.
She's awesome. When she getting out of prison, I'm gonna look her up.
Honestly, that would be great for you. That would be. I think you guys would be.
She probably still has a lot of that money, right?
Yeah. I would imagine. I don't think they took all of it, right?
No, she's probably got enough that I can live off of. I don't need much. $50,000 a year to maintain this lifestyle. That's fine.
And she's really good at sexting.
She and I are, let's just say, contemporaries in that department. We're both the same level.
Was she a live girl or was that Jeff Bezos? I think that was Jeff Bezos.
She was the
tiger.
Tiger, yeah. You are a desert tiger. Okay. The devastating okay back. So good, dude.
It reminds me, you'll know this, but more than half, 90% of the people will have no idea what this is, but I'm almost certain you're going to know this. Do you remember that meme? It was like, who the fuck is my mom texting? And it was Pharaoh. Pharaoh, I need you, Pharaoh.
I need you, Pharaoh. That's such a good classic Twitter. God, Twitter used to be so awesome, dude. We don't get stuff like that anymore.
Nope.
Every once in a while, you do get a good one. No, I can't say. I'll save that for the Patreon episode, actually.
You say that and you never bring it up, so write it down so you bring it up.
Okay. Yeah.
We're making Sam remember his notes for the bonus episodes now.
The bonus episodes, yeah.
He's just gonna say it first thing on the next episode. Just blurt it out.
Absolutely.
No, Jordan Poole. The Pelicans have a lot of candidates. And obviously, I think Saddiq Bey is the most obvious one for sure.
Well, I just think he's good. So that's my
Well, here's the thing, though. That's not what Mickey Mouse March is. Just playing above your head. And I know Saddiq Bey's been good this season, and has had some very high highs. But if Saddiq Bey has a 40-point game in March, he did
not his career high.
No, he actually just had a 42-point game against Utah a few nights ago. So I guess it is still playing considerably above his head, though. Yeah. And I did see something. I think Shane Dua posted that they have a 80% winning percentage with Saddiq Bey and Herb Jones since the middle of December or something. So this team, right now, they're standing right now in the standings. They are at, I think they're 12th in the West. They are 13th in the West. They're 2 games behind the Mavericks, who are still sitting Cooper Flagg and are pretty much actively tanking at this point. Although they did waive Tyus Jones and he signed with the Nuggets, so that is going to hurt the tank a little bit.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
A perfect weapon you had in your arsenal, and you chose to just give him. I mean, that is a little bit of like, let's suicide bomb the Nuggets and just send them Tyus Jones.
Did you see what Richard posted?
Oh, it's over and that's okay.
It's over and it's okay.
I don't know what's happened with the Nuggets. I actually, before they signed, and honestly, the Tyus Jones thing, I think they're going to get him in-house and be like, oh, he sucks and we don't have to play him kind of thing. Yeah. Like, they'll try it at first and then they'll realize like he's just not. He's always been a little bit overrated, as we've talked about kind of time and time again on this podcast, but he's like actively really bad now. Yeah. And I think they'll realize that fairly early and realize he's not a playoff rotation player and they have other options to go to. I've been surprised about the doom and gloom around the Nuggets because I'm like, I literally talked about earlier in this episode. Every year we have a team that gets absolutely decimated by injuries, right? Yeah. The Nuggets are that team this year and they're still 5th in the West. If they had beat the Timberwolves yesterday and the Timberwolves won, but it wasn't a blowout. If they had won that game, they would have been 4th in the West. They would have had home court in the first round. And I was like, I feel like if anything, if I were a Nuggets fan or just a follower of an optimist,
I still feel way better about them than like the Rockets. Like,
yeah, I don't know why everyone's panicking about the Nuggets when Aaron Gordon's missed most of the season. Jokic missed a month. Pretty much only Jamal Murray's been able to stay healthy. Christian Brown was out. Cam Johnson was out. I know Cam Johnson's played like shit, but at the same time, rotation players. Peyton Watson's out now. They really have not had their whole team healthy. Now, maybe it's just one of those years, just like we kind of talked about with the Magic throughout this season, where it's just like, might just be a lost season because of the injuries. But if everyone can get healthy sometime in the next month before the playoffs actually start, I still feel fairly optimistic. Now, the one thing is that like Jokic has games where he just does not look like himself. And that's a bigger concern, obviously, because their ceiling is just completely tied to Jokic's ability to ball out basically in the playoffs. But I feel like, considering how many things have gone wrong for the Nuggets, it's not that bad. Like, it's actually been pretty good relative to the amount of injuries they've sustained this season.
That's what I'm saying. They're still a game back of third. Yeah.
When they were healthy, they had the greatest offense we've ever seen by like a decent margin.
Yeah. They like, you end up third, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, we'll see. This is going to be a Spurs team. The Spurs are almost certainly going to be the 2 seed. I feel like, and if you get up into that 3 seed, like, yeah, the Spurs have home court, but they haven't been in the playoffs before. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're of the top seeds in the West. Well, no, that's not true. The Rockets are kind of the one, but they're like, I would rather see them and see the Thunder in the finals than catch the Thunder in round 2. Like,
there's no team they should be afraid of. Like, like they've kind of shown that they can go toe to toe with any team in the West. Like, even the Wolves beat them 2 years ago, and like they've kind of had their number, but like they went to 7.
Thunder, they went not a convincing. Like, no. You know, I called that series, but like, it had to go to game 7, and it was a fucking disgusting rock fight in the last game. You know what I'm saying?
The Wolves had this crazy comeback. Like, like I would feel pretty good if I were a Nuggets fan right now.
The Nuggets, they've been contenders pretty much every year since they won the title. Like,
the only thing that I would be a little bit, I won't even want to say concerned, but I would say like Jamal Murray is having like basically an all NBA level season, and his shooting, he's basically having one of the greatest shooting seasons in the history of the NBA this year. And you need that to transfer over into the playoffs in order to feel good about winning the finals. And obviously the MPJ for Cam Johnson trade hasn't worked out for them. And that's something that they've kind of panicked about. And at the time, I didn't really get why people were trashing the Nets for making that trade. I thought it was a good trade for both teams. And it hasn't really worked out for the Nuggets. But having said that, like, they did that for financial reasons, really. They did that because of apron shit. And they unfortunately used some of that money to pay Christian Brown for the next few years. And that might end up being a thing that kind of, I've said before, and I'll say it again, like, I think the Cam Johnson thing is easy to resolve. Like, they could just trade Cam Johnson and sign Peyton Watson and try to find other guys. Like, I don't think that is the reason that their window is going to be shut. Now, their ceiling might be a little bit lower just because MPJ gave them like serious size and rebounding and shit like that. But I don't know. I don't think it's completely destroying whatever potential they have. But obviously it's been a up and down season. They were incredibly hot to start the season and they've trailed off since. But I think you could chalk a large majority of that up to injuries. And I don't know. We'll see. I think that is it Adelman? Is Adelman there? I can never remember.
Yeah,
Adelman.
David Adelman. Yeah.
I think he might be a decent coach. So we'll see how that transfers to the playoffs. All right. I'm looking down my choices here for players that I could potentially select for the Mickey Mouse March. You know what? I'm going to go with, we've done mostly established players.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to go with someone completely out of left field.
Let's go.
I'm going to take Leonard Miller. It's a little bit of cheating of the Chicago Bulls.
I was going to say who he played for. I knew he used to play for the Wolves. I didn't realize he got traded to the Bulls.
So he was actually in the Io DeSumnu trade.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
In addition to Rob Dillingham.
Yeah.
Mike Conley also made the money work. They flipped him, whatever. So I don't know if you're aware of this. And once again, a little bit of cheating because he had a game in March. I've only been keeping an eye on him because there is like a horde of calculator rats on Twitter who have been like, his G League numbers are kind of crazy. And he only gets so few opportunities because he played on a really good team with the Wolves. But he was kind of a demon in a per minute status. And yesterday against the Bucks, he had 15 points on 6 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in 15 minutes. With 2 blocks, 1 steal. He was a plus 38 in that game.
Holy shit.
In the 4 games since he has arrived in Chicago, since the trade. Oh no, he's actually played in 5 games since. He's a plus 8, a plus 2, a plus 1, a plus 2, and a plus 38.
For the Bulls?
For the Bulls. They have not lost any minutes he's played.
Because they don't plus anything.
Yeah. Especially the last few weeks when they just got their first. It was, I don't know if you caught this, but in the group, it might have been in the group DM or the Discord, but Kev was like, I don't know if the Bulls are going to win another game for the rest of the season. This team fucking sucks. And then they immediately came back and won. And it was largely due to Leonard Miller having this incredible game off the bench for them. Now, he's only played in those other games. He was mostly just playing garbage time. It was like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. The last 2 games, he's played 23 minutes and 25 minutes. The Bulls, they're almost certainly going to be in the lottery again, but like now they'll have hopefully better odds. I believe they're the 12 seed right now. They are close to Milwaukee, but they don't have a ton of motivation to win games down the stretch. But like,
I was going to say, aren't they on like an 11-game losing streak?
This was their first win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was their first win in weeks. Now, but they should be motivated to see what they have in the guys that they got. Like, obviously, Ivy, he might just be like the.
Yeah, I think it's just injury stuff.
I think his career might just be kind of done. Like,
I didn't realize how bad his injury stuff. Like when I saw guys like cheering for him. Yeah, I didn't realize that's like a. It seems like that's more than just like being bad. It seems like something like not good happened to him.
So he had. I want to say it was Cole Anthony. Went to go block his dunk last year on the Magic. It was Magic Pistons, I think, and he fucked up his leg. And they talked about in the offseason, like his knee, he didn't recover from his knee injury, and then he came back slowly. He missed the start of the season, and when he came back, he didn't look nearly as explosive. And this is a player that just always was going to need to heavily rely on his athleticism and his explosiveness in order to become like a real NBA player. And it's looking like he's talked about it openly. Like, I'm just not the same player I used to be. And it might be kind of curtains for him, which really sucks.
Yeah, that's such a bummer. Like,
but
I was always higher on him than other people were. I think he could have been like a real NBA player if that happened.
But they acquired a ton of guys at the deadline, and it seems like Ivy might just be, like I said, like it's possibly to no fault of his own, just kind of done. And the the other guys that they got are, generally speaking, older players. Colin Sexton, Anthony Simons. Leonard Miller's the only one that is like a flyer that's like, I want to say he's 22 years old. And he is currently 20. He just turned 22.
Was he a G League guy? Was he an Ignite guy?
He was one of the last Ignite guys, 2023 draft.
Yeah.
But he never really got a chance. He had the Leonard always had like decent stats in the G League Ignite. Then he had decent stats in the G League. And he had these athletic and feel indicators that he might be something in the NBA. And I think for a team like Chicago that is just always looking for he's more big sized. I mean, he has wingy kind of attributes. They're always kind of looking for guys in this mold. And I think down the stretch of this season, he'll get a big opportunity here. I mean, I don't think he's going to have a plus 38 every single night, but I would wonder if he ends up having like a positive stretch, if they could try to limit his minutes just because they do want to keep their pick decently high in this draft. It seems like it could be a real fortune changer for them if it ends up jumping up into that top 3 for moving forward. But like, this is exactly the kind of guy that you love to get as found money in a trade, where it's like, oh, we just got him potentially even as a throw-in. I don't know if they valued him, but they might have just gotten him as a throw-in to make the money work for IO. And now you might have just found a guy who is someone that could fit in nicely with this team, because they just do not have a lot of young talent. Like it's really just Matas and then Giddey, who we could talk about all the flawed initiator stuff. He's still relatively young and a decent NBA player. And then Leonard Miller, maybe, and then whoever they draft moving forward. Everyone else on the team, like, they might be young in age, but I don't think that you should be super optimistic about their long-term potential. Maybe he gives them a shot to just get another guy in there that could be an impactful NBA player, because I can't imagine who else is going to be getting opportunities over him down the stretch of this season.
Yeah, no, I didn't know all that stuff about it. I just from what you're telling me, I'm inclined to maybe believe the calculator rats a little bit, that he might just be good.
So here are his per 36s so far. His per 36 is based off really playing in 2 games. Yeah. But like I said, plus 38 in the 1 game kind of opened my eye to this. 19 points per 36 on 1 steal, 2.5 blocks. I think if I remember,
3 stocks is something.
That I think the stocks and the rebounding numbers in the G League were really good. So far, the rebounding numbers aren't good, 6.9 per 36, but once again, we're going based off 2 games. In his garbage time minutes that he got with Minnesota in his first 2 years in the NBA, 12.4 rebounds per 36, 13.8 rebounds per 36, and 3 offensive rebounds in both of those seasons per 36 in those garbage time minutes. So there might be something here with him. I wanted to pick him as a little bit of a curveball, just because this is someone that I think we need to keep an eye on for Chicago. And Chicago, historically speaking, has been the Mickey Mouse March team. This might just be the first year where they don't want to be the Mickey Mouse March team, because the last few years they've kind of gotten hot down the stretch, made a play and push, and then their fans end up getting really mad about it. But this year, at least, maybe they can discover a potential rotation player out of it with Leonard Miller.
Yeah. I know. I didn't really. That's a good pick by you. I think that's a pretty good one.
If I remember correctly, because I only really remember him from the draft. I haven't been following him at all since, because there's just too many players to follow. He is a small forward, but he's like, I guess he's like wingy. I don't know. Like, I always thought of him as more of like a Paul Reed type, but I guess if he's the 6'10" small forward, power forward, that it's possible that he is just like a true wing forward. And that's
good.
You can never have enough of those guys. So
that if nothing else, he's at least worth a shot. Like, if you're the Bulls, you should absolutely be playing him. Like, figure out what's going on with him. You know, like, if it's fake, whatever. But like, what else are you going to do? It's fine.
Kev, when he started playing, Kev was like, another player we got that immediately outplayed Patrick Williams. That's what Hawks fans have been going through with French Patrick Williams, with Richeche and Kuminga right now.
All right. Well, if we're going to talk about power forwards for teams who I accidentally became important at work and it might be ruining my life, guys, I'm going to go back to one of my favorites that I brought up last season, one of my classic guys, and I think he is fucking primed to have a monster Mickey Mouse March here. Let's get my guy Gui Santos in the fucking trap, baby.
Just got paid.
Demon Gui, baby. Let's get him in there.
Let's get a bag Tuesday for Gui Santos.
Yeah, and he should get a bag, first of all.
He just did. Did you not see the contract extension?
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, let's go. Let's get, as he should, as he deserves it. Look, I've honestly always thought Gui Santos was a good player. Like, I thought him and the other guy for the Warriors, tall guy, shoots white.
Quinton Post.
I've liked both those guys for like a long time. Gui Santos, like, I do think that he, with the Warriors kind of needing all hands on deck and their kind of nightmare disaster season unfolding this way, I think they're going to need to rely pretty heavily on Gui Santos. And like, there's some stuff like his turnovers are a little bit disastrous, as are his fouling. But outside of that, it's like pretty good. You know, like his per 36, he's shooting like 5 threes a game on like 38%. Like, as like a pretty big rebounding guy too. Yeah, like he's a pretty good rebounder.
He's been really good this season. I was not familiar with his game really until last year. But he's been incredibly another team that is just incredibly starved for any sort of young playable talent, specifically on the wing.
It makes me so mad because they're actually really good at it. They keep fucking not doing it. They're kind of like the Lakers. You know how the Lakers just refuse to draft, but they were like really good at it for a long time. The Warriors are like dog shit. Like, they're so good with margin moves, but they'll do things like trade for fucking Buddy Hield or like something like that, when it's just like, just like play some of your young guys. You're actually like pretty good at finding like marginal talent, like Jordan Poole.
I feel like that's a new front office thing more so than the last one, though. I feel like most of their old moves that were good were like veteran guys, like Otto Porter Jr. or Sean Livingston, or where it was just like, or they signed Andre Iguodala with the MLE. I think if I remember correctly.
I think they did sign. I think Gary Payton Jr. was their guy though.
Yeah, but he was like 28 when he signed with them. They didn't draft him. No, he bounced around the G League he was on the Wizards. He played for the Blazers.
I mean, that's still a margin move though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but he was 29 years old when they won the finals. Like, he was old by the time. So
I get
that. I'm not saying it's not a margin move. What I'm trying to say is that most of their moves are more proven. The new front office is good at these things. The new front office is like Quinton Post in the second round, Will Retchard in the second round, Pods at the end of the first, Gui Santos. Like, they seem to be pretty decent at this, and they've only been doing it for 2.5-3 years at this point.
Steven Dunleavy, dude.
I was gonna say they seem to be pretty good at and honestly, you really need that when you're building a team with Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, old, and a lot of money. Like, they're just paying a ton of money. Like, you need to hit on these kind of guys. And the overwhelming reaction from Warriors fans when this contract came out was like, holy shit, we got him for only $5 million for the next 3 years. So that seemingly is at least from their fans who watch him every night, a scam contract. I mean, he has a 64 true shooting this year.
He's a demon, dude. Like, I really, you could tell watching him like in games. Like, I want to say his rookie year or his sophomore year, he had like a 65 true shooting. I think he only played like 200 minutes or something like that. But like, he's always been good. Like, last year he was like kind of quote unquote like bad. But like, he's still at a 57.5, which is like not terrible. It's not a good true shooting, but it's not bad.
He's shooting almost 70% from 2-point range. Now, the volume isn't crazy, but almost 70% from 2-point range this year. He is shooting a career high 38% from 3. But yeah, no, I mean, he's really gotten an opportunity since Kuminga fell out of the rotation. And since Jimmy Butler got injured, and he's kind of taken advantage of it so far. But definitely a huge W for the Warriors. And like I said, a team that is desperate for any sort of youth and I was going to say athleticism. I don't even know if he's athletic. I was just going to say, I honestly, I can't remember, but I don't know a ton about Gui outside of the random games that I've watched him, and he's been kind of popped for them, and stats look good. I mean, it's possible that they got a steal with him. And Mickey Mouse March, is he a Mickey Mouse March guy if he's just good though?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like we just talked about, it's about playing above your head. You know what I'm saying? Like I think
he's getting the opportunity to play above his head.
I think he's got a chance to put up some like gaudy numbers. I think he has a chance to get like a couple 20-point games under his belt here. But like he's ultimately like a rotation guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he tops out as like a, you know, bench forward. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be like a good team, and that's not disrespect. I think that's awesome. I still think he's like really good. I think a lot of teams could use a guy like Gui Santos. I think almost every team in the NBA could use a guy like Gui Santos. So like no disrespect to him. He can shoot threes. Again, not the creation, not great. Turnovers, fouls too much. Outside of that, pretty good and like solid. The stocks aren't like great. You know what I mean? It's not the Leonard Miller ones you were just going over, but he's like okay at some of that. So I don't know. We're going to check it out.
Also, this is a Steve Kerr legacy call.
Yeah.
If Gui Santos, we should monitor for the rest of the season. Gui Santos versus Jonathan Kuminga. See who plays better, because Steve Kerr said you're bum trash to Jonathan Kuminga, and Gui Santos stole your whole flow. So this is definitely a legacy call. And I've defended I've defended Spur, Spo and Kerr. I combined those two.
The Spur, yep.
I've defended them when it comes to guys like, and like I like Khalil Ware in the draft, and like I was decently high on him after his rookie season, but I've defended them against when, you know, they're going through all that shit. I don't. Did you see the Le Batard clip today where they were talking about like?
No.
They were talking about like, is it time to like? They didn't. They were kind of afraid of saying it because they were like kind of dancing around it. But they were talking about like Spo maybe regressing a little bit as a coach, and they were talking about maybe looking in another direction to try to find a coach, if not now, in the future. And it's all just stupid because they're never going to actually do it, because Spo is, you know, a god in Miami, and the organization loves him and whatever. But just because they've been kind of stuck in the play-in and all that shit. But I've generally defended Kerr and Spo when people criticize them because they know ball. Like they know more basketball than we do. And like, if they think a player sucks, 9 times out of 10, that player sucks. And we're going to see down the stretch of this season how that ends up playing out. And maybe they aren't the best for quote unquote young player development or whatever. But also they've also, like, especially Spo has turned a ton of non-NBA players into NBA players over the past few years. So I think that we shouldn't really question them when it comes to this shit. But Gui Santos is a real, like I said, it's a legacy call from Steve Kerr. Does he still have the juice?
We're gonna find out.
And I will be judging this solely based on Mickey Mouse March, where Jonathan Kuminga is the, you know, Magic Johnson of Mickey Mouse March, the LeBron James of Mickey Mouse March. All right, so we went with some more obscure guys relative to the bigger names. So I guess I'll pivot back. Now, Quentin Grimes was this last year for the Sixers. I mean, he was Michael Jordan in March last year. He's been playing a little bit better recently, but had a stinker last night against the Celtics. They're going to need him to play well down the stretch of this season, because with Paul George and Joel Embiid in and out of the lineup, Paul George is out of the lineup. They need 3-point shooting, and he's one of the few guys that can randomly catch fire, even if he's shooting 35% on the season. But this time last year, he caught crazy fire, averaged 25 points a game in March on like 60-something true, like 63 true shooting or something. Was looking like he was making a real leap as a player. and then came crashing back down to earth as he usually does.
Yeah.
He's been a guy in the past, I think, but I'm not going to choose him this year because I feel like because of Maxey and VJ, he's just not going to get the 30 minutes a game like he has in the past. He'll get 20 to 25 minutes a night, depending on, if both of those guys play, if Campaign is playable on any given night. And then sometimes he'll run the 3-guard lineup, but I would imagine that Quentin Grimes doesn't get the same opportunities that he got in the past with the Knicks and the Sixers to really have a strong Mickey Mouse March here down the stretch of this season. But we do have some great candidates here. Emanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, by the way. We're talking about real blue chip Mickey Mouse March guys. Real guys that have been in the past have been huge risers in Mickey Mouse March. But you know who I'm going to go with? And this is...
Let's hear it.
This is someone who's already started to turn a quarter a little bit. He's been absolutely horrendous this season. He's been one of the worst players in the NBA by every time I've watched him, I'm like, he does not look like an NBA player at all. And this was someone I really liked in the draft.
You had my curiosity, and now you have my attention.
I'm going to go with Jarus Walker.
Let's go, dude. Yes, sir. I was wondering. I knew one of us was going to take a Pacers guy, but I didn't know which of us was going to dive into the hodgepodge of stinky young guys that they have to come up with someone.
I did want to. Well, I mean, look, I don't want to disrespect Talon Peter, a real guy that's on their team. But you know who was a demon? Once again, speaking of Mickey Mouse March guys that are just to keep on your tabs here to keep an eye on, Micah Potter.
I knew you were going to say Micah Potter.
This guy is basically like, what if Sabonis wasn't a loser when he played against the Sixers in this game? Hold on, dude. The last few games, you want to know, he's a man after my own heart. He shot 9 of 11 from the field against the Sixers.
Let's go, dude.
23, 3 and 3 with 2 blocks and a steal in that game. The next game he went, dude, he has missed. Hold on, I'm going to do the math here real quick. In the last 3 games, he's shooting like 70% from the field in the last 3 games. Micah Potter is a fucking demon, dude. He only plays 23, 25 minutes again. They might have to bench him he was starting over Jay Huff in these games. Anytime he was on the court, we couldn't do anything. And he's another guy just like Jay Huff who just kind of hung around the G League for years. And he is currently, I want to say he's 28 years old and he just got his first real NBA contract. He is 27. He turns 28 in April. Just keep an eye on him. I think that they might actually have to bench him at times because
28 on April 6th. That's crazy,
dude. And he's just now, by the way, I know this Sixers team like the fucking back of my hand. When we're playing a shitty team and I see who's on the roster, I can tell you who's going to cook us. And earlier in the season, I famously did it with Jalen Pickett, Penn State guy, Jalen Pickett. I was like, Jalen Pickett has a career night, just literally the greatest shooting night of his life against us. I'm like, called that one. Before the Micah Potter game, I was like, oh, this guy's going to absolutely cook us. And I then literally, because I knew that he was friends with Joel Embiid from the team, he played for Team USA a few years ago. He was on like the select team or whatever. And I guess he's one of those guys that just kind of got a good relationship with Team USA because he always plays in like the qualifiers and shit because he's not in the NBA. So in 2024, him and Joel became friends. And I was like, he's going to go at Joel and he's going to have a great game. It was Joel's first game back from injury. And he went at him and he played this incredible game against us. And I think that he's someone who will be someone that you should keep an eye on. But the reason why
he's shooting 6 threes per 36.
He's a demon, dude. He's like
37% from 3.
I don't know where this guy came from, but he's a demon. Like,
let's go.
He was on the Jazz for a few years. Like, he might be the new Carlo.
Dude, you know who drafted him? Do you know who drafted it or signed him at least? His first NBA team was the Pistons.
I did hear that. That was Troy Weaver, right?
Our goat. Our goat. Again, don't let Troy Weaver near any of the levers that allow trades or anything, but just let him sign guys, let him draft guys.
Yeah. No, he's definitely got an eye for the talent. That's undeniable. Yeah.
So why did you pick the worst Jarus Walker for your Mickey Mouse March?
So Jarus Walker, I don't think people have really been paying attention to how bad Jarus Walker has been this season. Mm-hmm. Now, he's obviously not in a great situation. Like, he's not really a creator, and he's on a team that lost one of the best creators in the NBA that kind of simplified his life. But this was kind of going to be a make or break season for him, I think, in terms of, like, I don't think they're going to trade him because he doesn't have any trade value. Like, Benedict Mathurin might have had a little bit, and they were having to pay. He'll probably still get next year to get a chance to play with Halliburton, and then maybe if they draft someone, whoever they draft. But this year, he has a negative 2.9 BPM. He's last in like every impact metric. He's shooting 44% from 2-point range, 36% from 2. And he does have some decent counting stats, like scoring and some rebounding, sure. But like, the thing with him coming out as a prospect, and the thing that has not translated at all, was his defense in a way that I thought it was really going to translate to the NBA. And he's kind of become more of an offensively tilted player, and he's just been absolutely terrible on offense. But the last 2 weeks, well, I might just be falling for points, rebounds, assists a little bit here, but he had a 7-assist game, he had a 6-assist game, and he had 3 6-assist games in this stretch. Now, someone needs to have the ball on this team, because when Nembhard is out or Siakam's out, it's just they're desperate for any sort of on-ball creation. But the fact that he had those games, combined with the fact that he went 8 for 10 in their last game, scored 21 points, I just feel like he's kind of primed to have a shoot over your head month that gives the fan base a little bit of hope that he still continues to show, like, quote unquote encouraging flashes, even though he's in year 3 and he was a top pick in the draft. But these are the exact kind of guys that pop off in March. They're the kind of guys that's like former top pick, ton of opportunity, combined with the fact that the fan base keeps talking about like the flashes with him. Like, oh, the passing flashes, the scoring flashes. But when you zoom out and you look at the whole sample and you watch the games when he's playing not well at all, it paints a much different picture than these recent games have. But he's the exact kind of guy that will shoot like 40% from 3 for the month, and everyone will be really excited about him going into next season, and then he will probably just return back to earth and, kind of become more of a fringe rotation guy when they're at full health. So Jarus Walker was my pick here specifically because he's young. He was a former pick. He'll get a ton of opportunity, and he's been starting to play better than he was playing before, because he's legitimately been like crazy bad this year in a way that I was not anticipating. And I know they don't have Halliburton, but like, he's been worse than I could possibly have imagined. So
good. I have nothing to add to that. I'm intrigued that you went with Jarus, but I think you answered my questions appropriately.
We have let's just run through our top 6 picks so far. You took Cam Thomas, I took Jonathan Kuminga, you took Jordan Poole, I took Leonard Miller, you took Gui Santos, I took Jarus Walker. So those are our picks so far for our Mickey Mouse March, guys.
Yeah, I think
someone said here the Raptors as a team would be a great choice.
Well, this is a great where to go, because I actually am going to take a Raptor next.
Let's go.
This is a guy who is like not really an NBA player and has kind of proved that pretty recently. He's kind of a fringe of like the Raptors thing. He gets a couple spot starts every once in a while, but he's obviously very not good. But I think during Mickey Mouse March, where they need a little bit more juice and a little bit more creation, and everyone kind of stops trying, I think he has a real chance to step up. So again, this is a guy that not a lot of people know about. I'm going to go with Emanuel Quickley, a very bad player who's very bad at the game of basketball.
He's been cooking recently,
and he's been great recently.
Have you been getting shit from Raptors fans over this? I don't know if they save the receipts when you post. I don't know if Because like I just don't post about the Raptors anymore, really.
Yeah, I say a lot of them have me blocked. This happened the other day where somebody had a funny tweet that Kylie retweeted. I went to retweet it and I couldn't. I was like, what's going on here? This woman had blocked me. And I was like, why'd you block me? And I saw Raptors fan. I was like, okay, well.
That makes sense. That
fair play. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, he's awesome in February when you need him to be. And I think he's going to keep it going in March, man. This is going to be money for Emanuel Quickley. There's a chance he could play up to 75% of his contract value if he really gets cooking here in the month of March. So let's go, Emanuel Quickley. Show us what you got, baby. Like
the last 10 games, Emanuel Quickley has averaged 20 points, 5.5 assists, 3.2 rebounds on 52, 43, 83 splits. So he's had a game where he had a plus 29, another game where he was a plus 14, another game where he was a plus 12. So yeah, he's been playing much better as of late. And he has historically been a guy who plays way over his head in March. Like he puts up all-star numbers in March and then kind of is who he is just like a solid player for the rest of the time.
I'll advise Raptors fans who want to clip me on this. I would save your victory laps until after the playoffs.
I was going to say the playoffs, because the playoffs are going to be the real time. I mean, obviously, I think I don't know. I can never get a feel because I get such a curated version of Raptors fans relative to what they were before, just because like my feed looks different.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen as much delusion.
Yeah.
About this,
kind of had it beat out of them this year, I think, a little bit.
And I think it's more like they're just happy that the team's competitive and good, and Scotty's had this great season, and Colin Murray-Boyles has looked good. And it's normally, when I'm seeing Raptors fans, it's normally just them getting mad at Bobby Webster, or they are wishing death upon RJ Barrett. Like those are like the two things that I usually see if it comes across my timeline from Raptors fans.
To be honest, those are both pretty fair. Like I think
fine analysis.
Yeah, they've been way not. They are not the most delusional fan base in the NBA anymore. Like they've given pretty outside of like the first month of the season when they got a little ahead of their skis. Like they've been pretty clear-eyed from what I've seen with their analysis of the team. I haven't had a lot to make fun of them about. I think they have correctly identified this is like a pretty good team. We're probably going to get smacked in the playoffs, but like this is fun. Like, and
they're kind of similar to Sixers fans this year, to be honest. They were really upset with the deadline, but they were happy that like Maxey had a bounce back season and VJ's look good, and they're more optimistic about.
Trill unplugged his mic. I think another thing that's about the Raptors that is something I think what saved a lot of their psychosis is the fact that Scotty is good, and I think that saves a lot of the like antagonizing that they've had to.
That's why I was making the parallel with the Sixers because it was like Scotty and Maxey both had down years last year. Then they ended up getting lottery picks, and those players have looked good, and the team has when relatively healthy has looked way above expectations. And they're probably going to end up both making the playoffs here. I mean, the Sixers are clinging on to the 6th seed right now. It's possible that they end up falling into the play and missing the playoffs. But I think that Raptors fans have been more measured since the hot start. And I think that Quickley is a great choice for this. RJ Barrett was someone else I considered for this. I'm not going to take any other Raptors, so I'll just read off the other guys I considered. RJ Barrett, just because he's such a legend in Mickey Mouse work. I didn't include Brandon Ingram just because he's had kind of a Brandon Ingram-y season. Like, it's just like, his numbers are pretty good, and like the team is still somehow better when he's on the bench. But I don't foresee him having like a crazy March in the same way that I could see with like RJ or Emanuel Quickley. The other two guys I thought who you're going to pick was Jacoby Walter. Because he's gotten more opportunity recently, and he's always been a point of contention on this show. He's not good. We're going on 3 years of him not being good, and people telling me he's good. But
all right, settle in.
What is this? I just need to know what he's good at, because I hear people say he's good, and then I'm like, at what though? What does he do? What does he do at a high level?
you don't need to do anything at a high level. You just need to vibe. You just need to go. He understands his spots, man. That's what he understands.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll see. The Jacoby Walter playoff performance is going to be a fucking movie.
Sure.
Everyone, clip this right now.
We'll see if
remind me in May.
We'll see if he's in the playoff rotation. That's the first step. Because right now, if I look at their roster, let's just assume everyone's healthy for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Their starters are going to be their starters, which are Emanuel Quickley, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Scotty, and then one of Jakob Poeltl or Colin Murray Boyles. Then, and Jakob Poeltl's actually been playing recently. Like, he hasn't been at, like, then you have off the bench, you have Mamu, and then one of whoever doesn't start. So that's one of Colin Murray Boyles or Jakob Poeltl. And then I think the only player that should be locked in other than that is probably Jamal Shed. Yeah. And then I think their ninth spot would be between like Jacoby Walter, Jamison Battle, maybe depending on matchup, you could throw like Trace Jackson Davis out there, who I keep forgetting is on their team. But I don't know. I don't even know if he'd be in their rotation. He might be like their ninth man, but I don't know if he would be in their playoff.
I think if Grady Dick doesn't have it, I think he's the next.
Grady Dick has been, yeah. I mean, he's been kind of another guy that's just been incredibly disappointing for kind of where he was at a year or year and a half ago, where people thought he was headed after his hot start to last year.
The Kevin Herter Memorial Grady Dick Award.
Yeah, he sped run his career basically.
Yeah.
Just instead of the Hawks Sixers series, he was just like November 2024.
I was gonna say, at least Kevin Herter was like good at one point. Like he was like a playoff.
That's why I said he sped ran it.
Yeah.
I talked about this earlier with Q, where now maybe I'm just off here and I'm underestimating like how good Jokic is and how high he peaked. But and obviously Jokic has had one of the best careers in NBA history. But I just like I was talking about this earlier. If I had told you after the Clippers Mavericks series in the bubble in 2020 that Luka Doncic would possibly never win a title or never win an MVP when he was 20 years old and had that playoff series, like I was making the argument, I was like, he had potential to be, I don't know if the greatest offensive player of all time is the correct title, but Luka had a chance to be, like he was, Q put it like this. He said, like, he basically was on path to be like the next LeBron. And then I said he sped ran James Harden's career.
He really did, dude.
Like, awesome. And his career still isn't over. Like, he's still very obviously an extremely talented player and will have moments in the future. But it's just the way that we feel about Luka now and how we talked about it previously versus how I felt about him during his first few seasons in the NBA is it's just worlds apart.
Or even like 2024, dude. Like,
I feel like, yes, because he made the finals.
Yes.
But like, people, not us, but people were starting to turn on him.
Yes, for sure.
Like we saw it in the finals, and like honestly, we kind of I would like to go back and listen to some of those episodes. I remember us being like, I don't even think Luka's been that good. Like Luka, and when Luka and Kyrie were both on the court together, they had like a crazy offensive rating for the playoffs. But I just remember specifically being like, wow, I can't believe they're playing this well with Luka only having this good game and that good game and like not being quite the level of scorer that he has been. And while we've talked about the trade ad nauseum, it's just, once again, the shock of seeing where Luka's at now versus how I felt about him 3 to 5 to 6 years ago is just, it's like a different planet. Like I really did think that he had potential to be like, if not the greatest offensive player of all time, one of the 3 or 4. And now it's just, we just feel so far from that right now. Also, just a quick update on your Cam Thomas pick. The Celtics are destroying the Bucks right now. They're up 54-38, and it's about to be halftime. And so far in this game, Cam Thomas is 0 for 2 in 7 minutes and a -12.
Let's go.
So good start for your first overall pick. In the Mickey Mouse.
Sometimes you have to make yourself look stupid to make sure that you get a win on the second night of a back-to-back with the reverse jinx. So
Cam Thomas is doing, this is like tonight and the last game are like Cam Thomas's version of the 06 Kobe season when he just had no one else and he just had had to keep shooting, and then he eventually rewrote the second half of his career. He needs to do that for the rest of this season for your Mickey Mouse March pick to come right. All the doubters and the naysayers will understand soon. Okay, so there are a few other teams that have a lot of candidates for the Mickey Mouse March draft. Once again, I didn't take Josh Giddey because I just think it's cheating. Like, I think Josh Giddey I think he's just immortalized in Mickey Mouse March history to the point where like there's going to be no one that can really kind of touch the levels that he's reached in Mickey Mouse March, that I think he would have to play at like such an absurd level to reach that I just don't see it. I'll go with another player that's I wouldn't even say obscure, but like maybe somewhat of a big name that has kind of, people just don't ever talk about him anymore. I'm going to go with Gigi Jackson of the Memphis Grizzlies. Another kind of Jarus Walker-y style pick from me, where Gigi Jackson, I've never thought Gigi Jackson was good. But he did famously have a game 2 years ago against the Bucks. I want to say that was in March when the rest of the team was dead, where he absolutely went off. And he has had recently now Gigi Jackson is another one of those guys where you're like, wow, he had 28 points at 11 for 17. And then you look at the plus minus and it's like a minus 14. Like, this is why I've just never really thought, like, I was like, all he could really do is score and be big and athletic. But he feels prime with this Memphis team just punting on the season and trying to get a high pick after just making the moves that they made at the deadline. Walter, I don't know. The player who I also had on my list that's probably been my most disappointing rookie would be Walter Clayton, I would say. Like, Walter Clayton is someone that coming into this season, I was like, he's like 22, 23 years old. So I kind of anticipated him to be someone who would come in and be pretty decent right away. He turns 23 next week. So usually when you're an older rookie, you should ball out by the end of your rookie season. So far in his career, he is shooting 38% from the field, 29% from three, which I thought that was going to be his best. I thought if anything, he would just be a shooting merchant. Yeah. And I've just been incredibly disappointed with that. He is shooting, the one good sign, very small sample, but he is shooting 90% from the line. So it's possible that he could get to a point where he's actually like a legit 3-point shooter again. And then he did have like a 15 assist game last night, but the shooting efficiency, especially with the Grizzlies so far, shooting 35% from the field, 20% from three in his 7 games with the Grizzlies. He's really been, like I said, one of the more, he already got traded. Like, very rare that a 22, 23-year-old rookie comes in, disappoints, and then gets traded halfway through his rookie season. So, Walter Clayton is someone I had on my list, but I don't even know if he has it in him, to be honest with you, this season. It might just be, kind of Jover for scoring purposes for this season for him. But Gigi Jackson is a guy that, once again, he's another guy that if you catch him on the right night and his shot is falling, it's just like, oh, the Grizzlies have a superstar wing. And then you watch all of his games and you're like, no, they do not at all. And I've kind of always thought that he's gotten a little bit overrated and overhyped. And I say this as someone who I've watched the Grizzlies a decent amount over the years, just because they always have role players that I'm like, man, I wish Vince Williams Jr. or Santi Aldama or this year Jock Landale was on the Sixers, because we just need like normal bench players, and we have never been able to acquire normal bench players on the Sixers. And Gigi Jackson seems to be the one that gets the most hype from their fan base. And every time I've watched outside of his random scoring outbursts, I'm like, yeah, I do not see, he doesn't pass, he doesn't defend, he's not like a hustle guy.
I will say, because I went to the Marcus Smart game where Marcus Smart came back to the TD Garden for the first time.
Didn't he ball out in that game?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Gigi Jackson.
Yeah.
It was like Gigi Jackson was like pretty much the only guy on the court with a fucking NBA contract for the Grizzlies.
I think
they had like
Jameson.
7 guys. Yes, they had like 7 guys available that night. And Gigi Jackson like carried their scoring. I was not impressed. Like I think he did have like 28 or something like that, but I was like not impressed. Like,
someone had to score kind of thing.
Yeah.
But once again, he is someone that can randomly get hot and really pump up the scoring volume. And he has recently. So I'm keeping an eye on that for them. Once again, someone on that team needs to take shots, and they're pretty much just benching everyone. The Edey news is a total bummer, because he's having potentially another surgery on his, like, it's just like, I also wonder if that's part of the reason why they were just like, between the Jaw stuff, the Edey stuff, like they were just like, we're so far away. Like we just like, we might not, we need options. We need somewhere to go because the West is way too good. And we just need to start taking swings on draft picks again, because between everything that has happened with the regression of Jaren Jackson and John Morant just not really turning out the way he did, plus all this Edey stuff, I do wonder if that's a factor in the decisions that they ended up making. But two other guys on their team I think will get a chance. Omax, your guy from the 2023 draft, Omax Prosper. I was never a big Omax guy. I didn't really see it with him. He did just get an NBA contract.
Was he my guy?
You loved him. You wanted him for the Celtics. Go back and watch the stream.
Like 20, but like 20.
You liked Omax.
I thought he was like okay.
He also would be a guy that would go to the Celtics and be good though. Like at this point, whenever you do the Doomer stuff with the Celtics, I'm like, does it ever get old? It's just gonna work out. It's just gonna work out. You're now in a different time where everything. I mean, it's always been pretty good for Celtics fans, but everything works out now.
I was gonna say this season in particular. This season has been satanic. This is Miami Heat shit. This is an evil season. I'm not gonna. You're correct. Like this is the first season where I'm like, okay, this is a little fucked up. To be totally honest, like, why is Jordan Walsh good all of a sudden? That guy sucked last year. He was so bad. What happened? I don't know. Anyway.
Demons. So I did just want to shout out Omax because he got an NBA contract and he's shooting 40% from three on extremely low volume for them this year. And he's apparently looked like more of an NBA player this year. So maybe there's hope for him after all. Another guy in the Grizzlies that should be a good candidate for this, and I could have taken, is Cam Spencer, but I think Cam Spencer's just good.
Yeah, like, I thought the same thing when I looked at him on the list. Yeah, I
kind of just landed on like Cam Spencer is just like one of the best shooters in the NBA and will have a 10-year NBA career as at a minimum one of the best bench shooters in the NBA. He's got a little bit of creation juice, got a little bit of passing juice, and big year for the Spencer brothers. Break it out. So yeah, that was those were the guys that I considered for this, but this will be your last pick, Sam. So make it a good one.
Okay. I feel like I do need to do a little bit of consent manufacturing to kind of like save myself at the back end. Let's talk about the Naji Marshall 50-point game that's coming down the pipe sometime this month.
Will pointed this out the other day.
Yeah.
Are you aware that the Pelicans 3 years ago had like Naji Marshall, Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones? They literally had the best wing room. Even Brandon Ingram, like they had the best wing room in the NBA 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 4 years ago, whatever that was.
Yep. I'm on record, like I always liked Josh Hart. I was like very fucking annoyed when the Knicks got him. So like preaching to the choir on that one. I want to do some consent manufacturing for the getting out ahead of I wasn't wrong just early about the Dallas Mavericks. And I think that it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't give me that look. It'll be fine. They're gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they want to be good.
It's fine. They're not going to be good this season. But
okay, you're saying next year. Gotcha.
Yeah. So the plan just kind of fell apart a little bit at the very end, but I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong when I said that the Mavericks were going to win 46 games or whatever I said.
They're 21-39. And they're once again, and my whole argument the whole time was like, this is the last time they'll have their draft pick during Cooper Flag's rookie contract. Are you aware of that?
I didn't know that. That is kind of fucked
This is
up.
the last time they have control of their own first-round pick during Cooper Flag's rookie contract. So if they're mid or bad, they're going to want to pull the plug. And that's exactly what they did. Like when they were like, Kyrie might come back, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. It was always going to take Flag a little bit of time to get used to the NBA. Anthony Davis, you can't trust him. Like this is a very good thing for the Mavericks that they were this bad this year.
Yeah.
Like they should be praying to God that they're this bad so that they could get a running mate for Cooper Flag in the draft.
I think Naji Marshall is our Saddiq Bey type guy who's like a good player who is going to have like a 50-point, like is going to like be playing like a fucking all-star through March. He's like my big pick for like guy who's good, but is just going to like look better in March.
Yeah, I mean, he's also looked. He just had a 36-point game the other night on 14 of 23 from the field. He had a 31-point game on 12 of 17 from the field a few weeks before that. He's averaging 15 points in 29 minutes on 53, 29, 76 splits. He's just has random outbursts where he's just crazy. Like, and it seemingly always comes against like decent-ish teams. Like he did one against Phoenix. He had he had multiple great games against the Knicks. So I do think that he has probably some of the most upside of any of your picks here with random scoring out, but where like he could be the MVP of Mickey Mouse March.
Yeah.
Look back on this.
I wanted to get like more like interesting players. I just think he's good, and I think he's just going to have like a 50-point game. But it seems like we have to have him at this point, though. You know, like
I have a tweet. I went back and I looked at it. I think my first tweet about wanting Naji Marshall on the Sixers was back in 2022. That's how desperate I have been for a decent wing or forward on the Sixers. So yeah, he is injured right now, but he'll be back soon. So I also don't think he's one of those guys where like you have to worry about. Now, if him and Flag are both playing at the same time, you might worry about like accidentally winning a little bit too much down the stretch here, but they're already so bad. I don't think they have to worry about making the play in at this point. So that's really the thing that they want to just kind of entirely avoid. But all right, let me run down my list of other guys that I considered. So I already went through some of the Pacers guys. Kobe Brown, who's another fringe NBA player that shot well to start with the Pacers. Cam Jones, who destroyed the Sixers, and then they benched him because he was playing too well in the game. Quentin Jackson, who's had random scoring outbursts. Another guy in the Raptors is Jamal Shed, who is having a very strange year, Jamal Shed, where like he leads in these like hustle stats because he's like a hustle demon, and like the defensive stuff looks good, and like he has a good assist to turnover ratio and ball security and all that stuff. And then you look at his shooting numbers and you're like, oh man, he just cannot score at all. It's like he has a 49 true shooting, but he's a bench guard for them. Like he's just like not really someone who I don't think will get enough opportunities to really qualify for this. Some other guys that I considered on the Warriors, Pat Spencer, Moses Moody, who has these random outbursts of scoring, Pods, who's been playing better recently. And then on the Sixers, I considered Quentin Grimes, Adem Bona, Kelly Oubre, and Campaign. On the Bucks, I considered Bobby Portis and Ousmane Dieng. And on the Pelicans, I wanted to choose Scoot for this, but Scoot is just
he's
he can't
bad.
shoot.
Yeah,
and like
it's unfortunate he's bad.
If you can't shoot, then it's just hard to be a Mickey Mouse March guy. Like because most of the guys that can't shoot that have good Mickey Mouse marches, like Jalen Green or RJ Barrett, they still will put up enough shots that occasionally they get hot and it will look really good on them. But I don't know with like if Scoot's just going to shoot 25% from three, there's just no chance that he's going to be someone who can be a Mickey Mouse March guy this year, even though he felt like he should have been an immortal lock for this. I also considered your guy Time Lord, who's been playing recently. He's trying to make a comeback. I considered DeJounte. I considered Let's see. I also considered Pelle Larsson of the Heat.
Pelle Larsson, dude.
I considered a niche role player who's been playing better recently. Bam Adebayo. Been having a nice run recently, Bam Adebayo.
Who's he?
Oh, you know what?
The captain, as they call him.
The captain, dude. Yeah, he's just sick of being in the play-in. And then I'm like, then do something about it, dude.
Yeah.
Either be better or request a trade. I'm over this.
Yeah. Get a job, dude. Come on. Be a real player. If you're actually good, you shouldn't be scared to run away from Spo.
Yep. When Maxey said this last year, it was actually cool and good.
Yes. Unironically, yes.
Because he's a winner.
Yes.
Other guys I considered on the Mavericks: Max Christie, Brandon Williams, Ryan Nembhard. Hornets, I considered Josh Green, Kobe White, and your boy Grant Williams, who's back now again. Another guy who's
I thought about that one was speaking to me like the Green Goblin mask, but I couldn't figure out a way where Grant Williams has any amount of good games. But I did want to pick him. Yeah.
I just don't think he'll get enough shots and he won't get enough minutes. And Nick Clifford had a breakout game last night. I considered him I know he's a rookie and we're not usually taking rookies here, but he went 11 of 18 against the Lakers, had 26 points. He was a -17 in that game, but it's good to see him doing literally anything. Another disappointing older rookie from this class, but the Sacramento Kings are a tire fire. I did consider my old love, Devin Carter, who is good at everything but shooting, but is such a disastrous shooter that it doesn't matter because he literally will just never have a hot stretch because he cannot shoot at all. He's shooting like 12% from three this year. It's really not a good time. I really think he might get cut this summer. Like, it's been kind of brutal for him. And Daryl Morey, if you're listening, please, if you still have your job this summer, go sign Devin Carter, and I won't be mad at you anymore. Yes, I will be, but just not as bad. Actually, I should consider Jared McCain for this, even though Jared has just been playing better in general. But like, he's like a perfect Mickey Mouse March guy for this. But I also just think Jared's going to be a good player. Davion Mitchell, your other love, I considered for this. But ultimately, I'm going to go with a guy who I think really represents a guy that is just one of the streakiest players in the NBA, but I would say he qualifies for last 5 game man status. And that is of the Miami Heat Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Jaime Jaquez. Okay. Yep.
So Jaime is, he's kind of the reverse of Mickey Mouse March, where he starts every season really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the first month of the season, you're like, Jaime Jaquez Jr., all-star leap? Is it? I mean, at this rate, the Miami Heat get an all-star every year who's not actually an all-star. Tyler Hero last year, Norm Powell this year. By the way, Norm Powell, no disrespect, I think it's awesome, a great story. He got hurt in that game because the other day, and the Heat immediately came back, and I was like, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. He made the All-Star game. Like, come on, dude. It's just a perfect representation of why every team does not need an All-Star just because they're in the fucking play-in. But last few games, Jaime Jaquez has been playing a little bit better. He also, I have such a distorted mind, like, perception. He's only shooting 25% from 3 this year, Jaime Jaquez, which I know he can't shoot, but that was shocking to me when I saw that. He's averaging 15, 5, and 4. And he's been playing a little bit better recently, but he's one of those guys that just kills the Sixers so often that in my mind, he's a much better player. We just never have an answer for Jaime Jaquez. And he's another guy that is next year's a contract year for him. But technically he's up for an extension in the fall. And the Heat have shown they're willing to pay guys, like, sometimes to their own detriment, with guys like Nikola Jovic, who I thought could have had a breakout year this year and just has not at all. And then other guys that they've paid in the past that obviously the Tyler Hero contract, they regretted it, then it looked fine, and now they might be regretting it again. Jaime Jaquez is a guy that's up for a contract in the fall. He is someone who has generally played his best basketball when the stakes are the lowest. And he's someone who is up for sixth man of the year, so he could boost that down the stretch of this season potentially by scoring a ton. And he'll get a ton of shots, a ton of opportunities with the Heat. And he kind of is the perfect microcosm of what a Mickey Mouse March player is, to be completely honest with it. Like a player who always wants you leaving more or wanting more. He just leaves you wanting more, but like is very clearly talented and an NBA player, but their flaws kind of hold them back from reaching like the higher heights that people had in mind for them. So Jaime Jaquez Jr., I think will have a fantastic March. And just to recap here, Sam took Cam Thomas. I took Jonathan Kuminga. Sam took Jordan Poole. You have a type. I took Leonard Miller. Sam took Gui Santos. I took Jarus Walker. Sam took Emanuel Quickley. I took Gigi Jackson. Sam took Naji Marshall.
The type. Cam Thomas, Jordan Poole, Emanuel Quickley, all similar, exactly the same player.
I'm sure Raptors fans won't get mad at that one at all.
Yeah.
And then I took Jaime Jaquez Jr. Sam took Naji Marshall. We didn't. Apologies for not taking Saddiq Bey. I do think that Saddiq is just a guy.
He's good.
He's good, but he's also just occasionally will have he will just occasionally have like a 40-point game in January. I guess that's not technically true because he really has only had his big games in February and March, right? He kind of is a poster face Mickey Mouse March guy.
But he like gets better every season. You know what I'm saying? Like
does he know? He's just he's been injured, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I Saddiq Bey, I ride for you, King. I would never. Let's take a look at his. Let's take a look at the. Let's go to the tape.
Well, he didn't play last year, and then 2 years ago he played for Atlanta for a little bit. He's just kind of always been someone that's been attached to his 3-point shot, and he's having these random stretches where he's absolutely on fire from 3 this year.
I'm going to the career splits real quick here. If they load,
you want to know he shoots 40%. Oh no, that was his rookie year. His career splits, he shoots 41% from the field, 35% from 3, 84% from the line. And this year,
so it's actually May is his best month.
What?
May is his best points per game month.
Well, how's that possible?
It's I think it must be like playoff games. Because he's got 17.7 there.
How am I completely memory holding this? He played for Atlanta for 2 years?
Yeah, dude.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Because he got traded at the deadline in 2023. And then he played I'm going to be honest. No, he's only played 6 career playoff games. But he played in the play-in probably. But that's April.
He's always bad out of the gate, but March is one of his worst months. October and November.
Sam, you need to explain how that's possible if he's only played 6 career playoff games in the play-ins in April.
I'm looking at his May.
How is that? Detroit never made the playoffs. Atlanta did.
It must be. I'm guessing it's probably when the schedule was fucked up. That one season.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I was like, how is I forgot the COVID years.
The COVID year probably fucked some of that up. So I mean, I guess you could count those May games as spiritually March, like if you wanted to. But yeah.
So I do think I think we will get some pushback from our Pels fan friends who said he should obviously be a very high pick, but Saddiq Bey absolutely captures Mickey Mouse March for sure. Like, I mean, like you said, spiritually, like what is February if not March?
Yes.
What is May of 2021? I think that would have been May of 2021, if not March, because the season was. I was gonna say, I was like, he's definitely never played for enough good teams to have that much stats in the playoffs. Like but play in Pels, that was a big loss for our play in Pels last night. Yeah. If they had beat the Clippers, I would have been like, they're making the play.
Yeah, I sit up a little straighter.
I would have been like, but now it's just going to be tough. Just a little check-in if you haven't been following. Like I said, they're 4-1 since we went to New Orleans. The Pelicans are now 19-43 on the season, and the Blazers are they're basically 10 games behind the Blazers exactly. And the Blazers probably will want to make the play-in, even if they end up losing the first play-in game. But the Blazers are 29-33. The Pelicans are 19-43. So uphill battle, but I do think they can get as high as 11 and like probably win close to 30 games. And that's unfathomable considering where they were 2 months ago, where it was just like, oh my God, they're going to give the first pick in the draft to the Hawks.
Let's go.
But don't worry, the Hawks have a superstar, Jonathan Kuminga. They don't need the first pick in the draft anymore, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Jonathan Kuminga is a max player. So
God, dude, that would be so funny if they like. Hold on. I'm going to my palace real quick just for the. What if they take DeBansta and pass on Boozer because they already have Kuminga?
That's never going to happen. Wait, hold on. Say it again.
They pass on Boozer. They get like the number 1 overall.
They're going to take if they think Boozer's better. They're taking Boozer.
Saying it would be very funny if they drafted Kuminga is too much like Boozer.
So I completely ignore this if Jonathan Kuminga comes back down to earth and he sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But JS in the Discord asked this date was November 30th, 2025, and he said, "Who is 2025's Julius Randle?" As in, like, he was looking for players the Sixers could trade for that could end up being what Julius Randle did with the Knicks, where he turned his career around.
Yeah.
He made All NBA. He won Most Improved Player. Like, basically a guy that's in, the middle of his career that was a high pick. And I replied and said, if I actually think it's Kuminga, if you want a comp, because they kind of follow this. I think they were both the 7th pick in the draft, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think he needs to bounce around a little bit more, though.
Well, Julius Randle was on his 3rd team, so maybe it's the team after the Hawks for Kuminga. And once again, ignore this if
he's bad.
Kuminga goes back to sucking. But I did think it was very funny that was the comp that I came up with, and then he instantly started playing amazing on the Hawks, and it was like, what if he's the new Randle? It's big wing who plays with power and got some passing chops, and I don't know. It's something to ponder. Randle became a really good shooter though, and that's the difference between Kuminga just does not have Kuminga's a slasher. He's not like a guy that you're going to run offense through and have him operate from the mid post and become like a legit mid-range shooter. So that's kind of what made Randle's career, to be honest with you, beyond just the bully ball, which he can kind of fall back on. So
he's gonna be bad.
He's what? He's what?
He's gonna be bad. He's gonna be bad. It's fine though.
How dare you doubt? How dare you doubt? Demon Onsai is his name? Onsai.
Yeah, Onsai. Yeah. I mean, he did say that Kristaps Porzingis doesn't have pots, so now unfortunately I do have to stand. But
he said he's a faker. Actually.
Yeah, he called him a faker baby.
I do just want to be clear that Kristaps Porzingis is an actual fascist. So
yeah, again,
like look at his Twitter followers.
Very bad. Look, we love when people advocate for themselves. Mixed diagnosis. Our health system is designed to make you doubt yourself.
Yes.
You do not diagnoses. Advocate for yourself. Diagnoses. You don't want to do this. So many people in this country need to do this. One that is not Kristaps Porzingis, the fucking fascist. He ruined my fucking life. He has Marcus Smart's ring. Mail Marcus Smart his ring.
As someone who benefited from Kristaps Porzingis sucking last year and laughing at the Celtics for losing, I just need everyone to know that he's a really bad guy, and I don't feel bad for him. Anywho, so
we didn't get there. Unfortunately, we were a minute shy. Sadly,
so I'll just inform you that the Rockets are about to beat the Wizards again. And that means that
Trae Young got ejected from that game before he played a minute. By the way,
what?
I think Trae Young got ejected. I saw on the timeline Trae Young got ejected from the game. I'm guessing he stood up from the bench.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was like, he didn't make his debut tonight. And
no, he didn't make his debut. No, before he played in a game, he got ejected from a game, which is awesome.
Incredible. I was going to say he's going to play. Yeah. He's going to play later in this week. Also, every time I check the Wizards score, it's so funny that I have to see that Omar Cooper is on the Wizards, and that's Sharif Cooper.
Yeah,
but his dad is Omar.
Right.
And now I will forever think about the fucking when he was Ace Bailey's agent and he was in the car playing the Jay-Z song from Blueprint 2.
Let's go, dude.
Absolutely. When you search Ace Bailey on GIFs, that comes up before an actual video, an actual GIF of Ace.
Dog, Will Riley was negative 25 in 22 minutes tonight.
Will Riley's got a little bit of juice, though.
He does have a little bit.
I've watched a few games of him this year where I'm like, he might be a guy. Like, I know that it's the Wizards and he's a rookie, but like, he might have something to his game. Yeah, no, I mean, the Wizards should want to lose anyway. And they're literally starting Angel Reese's brother, Julian Reese. So,
dog, there's no way this. Hold on, this box score must be fucked up. It's saying that the Wizards have 21 total rebounds with like fucking 10 minutes to go in the fourth.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, once again, they started Julian Reese, Angel Reese's brother at center, who they just signed as a two-way. He was Derek Queen's teammate at Maryland last year. Like, he had 3 rebounds as their starting center.
3 rebounds. Okay, listen to this. 4 fouls, 3 turnovers. Yeah. But then he also had 3 steals. So
he's not an NBA player. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm like, I watched a decent amount of him just because he played with Derek Queen at Maryland. Like, that is just a like nice local kid, and we're tanking. So let's just throw him a bone here. But we did it. We reached the 2-hour mark. The reason I brought up this score, by the way, had nothing to do with the Wizards. It was just to let you know that the Sixers pick that they have from the Rockets is the 25th pick of the draft. And if the Rockets continue to win as they have been, I mean, we're looking at maybe the 27th pick of the draft. So congratulations, Daryl Morey, for trading Jared McCain for this pick. I think it's a brilliant move. You really sold high. You really, really sold high. You should get an extension. You should get $50 million more to do your job so well. You need more money. We need to give Daryl Morey more money.
Have you ever heard someone death threat someone without actually death threatening them? That's kind of what's happening right now with Trill.
No. I want it on the record that I'm not doing that.
He's not literally doing that, but I'm just saying I'm watching Trill's face, and it's the same. It's the same face that I use when I tell the children that they have to get out of the Jurassic Park at Dave & Buster's, or I am going to scream at them.
It's the same face that Jokic made at Jalen Williams the other night during the game. So anyway,
did you hear Zach Lowe say that the reason that players are chippy with Thunder players is because they're jealous of how good the front office is?
Cook.
That's awesome. That's so sick.
Give Sam Presti a Lifetime Achievement Award for treating his players like they're human beings. Daryl Morey could never. I saw Sam Presti hug Jared McCain when he got off the plane to get there. Daryl Morey did that one time in his entire tenure with the Sixers, and it was when we traded for James Harden, and he punted on a season of Embiid's prime because he's an egomaniac who thinks that he knows better than everyone, including the team that just won the NBA Finals, and a GM who's much better at his job than him. So honestly, cook on that, Zach Lowe. Shout out to Zach Lowe for pointing that out. Everyone is jealous of the Thunder. We're going back to back this year, Sam. You can get used to it. Just get used to it now. We're going back to back, baby. Thunder Trill. We're going back to back.
Let's go. Fair enough.
Peace.